Spencer, you and I have talked many times over the years, and you maintain that this market is very different from 2018, that the volatility is different. But tell me how so?
Well, and look, in a lot of ways, it is similar. I mean, we've seen the story before where, Bitcoin, as it rises to its ascent, it's not going to be a smooth path. There's going to be volatility on the way. And particularly when we see the market get pretty hot and some significant appreciation, we get a lot of headlines that, present a little bit of headwinds for Bitcoin going forward. I'd say the biggest difference, though, today is that we have just a lot more use cases. I mean, if we rewind to 2017, 2018, there was a major question as to whether or not anything in crypto beyond Bitcoin would actually work and whether people would even continue to value Bitcoin going forward. I think now that that question has been definitively answered and that people do value Bitcoin and they're likely to continue doing so going forward. And beyond that, we've got a plethora of not just robust infrastructure for Bitcoin, but really a whole suite of assets that are emerging out of kind of Bitcoin as the original crypto asset, creating all sorts of new things in terms of DeFi in particular.
Spencer, is it good for Bitcoin that one of the third richest man in the world is meeting over the weekend with a coalition of North American miners to set standards and to sort of coordinate on activities?
It's neither good nor bad. I mean, I think that realistically, the idea that Elon Musk can control Bitcoin or create this centralizing force behind it just isn't going to work. I mean, if we rewind back to 2017, there was a big drama within the community about whether or not Bitcoin should accept a proposed change to how it works and how it functions. That included many of the largest companies and insiders in the industry, and even that attempt failed. So I think the idea that Elon Musk, as an outsider to the industry, is going to be able to somehow wrangle control is wrong. But it's neither good nor bad that he's coordinating these things. These are discussions that are worth having and worth exploring.
There may be an underappreciated trend at play here, and that is DeFi, Spencer. So explain to the normies and some people who might not quite understand what is happening here, what this means and why this could be such a tectonic shift in a market that's already shifting so dramatically.
Yeah, for sure. And I'm glad you asked, because 4 or 5 years ago, because from a venture perspective, at Blockchain Capital here, we operate venture funds. Everything we were doing was really oriented around Bitcoin and its growing ecosystem. Over the past few years, in contrast, everything has been oriented around DeFi. And so DeFi is the future of finance, and it's digital infrastructure for digital financial services and digital assets. And this is where we're seeing all of the adoption, all of the new traction, and all of really the new entrepreneurial activity is being harnessed within this DeFi ecosystem. And so a way of thinking about it is really, DeFi is what Fintech always wanted to be. So Fintech is digital front ends for the same antiquated infrastructure we've always used, whereas DeFi is rebuilding the whole stack from the ground up the way that we would if we could do so from scratch. And so that's unleashing a whole set of new financial services applications that are built on networks like Ethereum.
Right.
And these applications are in aggregate generating between $10 and $15 million a day in revenue. So there's very significant adoption and traction within DeFi very broadly.
But Spencer, I've been trying to study and wrap my head around DeFi a lot more lately, and what I see at places, at venues like Uniswap, super impressive, just extraordinary technology, super advanced, miner extractable value and flashbots, arbitraging different trades that are waiting in the mempool and so forth. But what is the point? All I see is a lot of trading of coins, and when I look at what those coins do, it's more coin things like balancing your coins and lending your coins. When does this bleed into the real economy where it starts to compete with TradFi in terms of functions that I get right now from a bank or an insurance company?
Yeah, fair enough. I mean, Joe, you're absolutely right, and you rattled off a lot of the most interesting things that are actually happening within DeFi and things like MEV and flashbots, et cetera. Look, longer term, these are always on 24/7 services. So they don't close at 5 p.m. They're not closed on the weekends or holidays. These are services where you can always access your capital. You can always get the financial services you need. And in contrast to our current financial system, they're not capable of discriminating based on race, gender, religion. This is a real leveling of the playing field for builders and for consumers. And that's a win for everyone because financial services are a core component of everyone's life. So having a more performant, more accessible, and more equitable financial system, I think is good for the world.